Alright, your boy Otaku Phil here. Haven't done a new video in a little bit, so I figured I'd give you guys, a little update. What's going on with me? Not much pretty is happening with me. Been doing my run. I've been getting a little bit of snow and rain up here heading up to Arcata and all that stuff. So it's been pretty benign. It's a fun little drive. You gotta actively drive. Otherwise, they're pretty quiet evenings. On average, I get anywhere between shit. I've had as low as 8 passengers and as high as I think like 27 passengers going from San Francisco to Arcata. Typically, the LA runs are packed. Typically, the LA runs, I don't think I've had less than maybe like 30 people, and I've had like full 50 people, 50 passenger buses where they're completely packed. LA to Oakland, LA to San Francisco, and San Jose. Those are pretty packed buses. They're very popular, especially late in the evening, and there's less traffic, so we get there quicker. So a lot of people want to be on that bus. So, um, with the rain and the snow, this reminded me of one of the questions that was asked to me not too long ago, and it was, do we get newer or older equipment that we drive in? So, for the most part, I've actually found personally, and this is my opinion, that it really depends on your location. So in California, we have a lot. They have a lot of new smog and emission standards. So because of those emission standards and those I know those standards for buses, like for one, all buses have to be, I think, deaf equipped, and all buses have to have seatbelts. So because of that, California seems to get a lot of the newer buses. Um, and because we have those stricter laws in California, we get a lot of older buses going back east. I had a buddy of mine who's a driver in Tennessee who just started driving here in LA. And even he was like, dude, the buses that we have back in Tennessee are nothing compared to, he goes, are nothing compared to these buses. I mean, they're just old and beat up. So they have different standards. So I've personally found that the buses back east are not as new. Um, then there's also your location. So driving from LA to like San Francisco and LA to Vegas, and I'd say 90% of the time I have the newest 800 series Prevos. They're brand new, off the shelf. They're freaking low miles. They freaking got brand new everything in them. Everything works perfectly. But every time I've done the Denver run, I've always had old buses. I've had really old buses going the Denver run. Then there's the what was it, the and then I've had a couple times going up to Arcata where they've given me old buses as well. Yeah. So it seems like, and what you find is basically every time you see those buses come back, they are always beat up. They're always covered in mud, dirt. They got tons of chips and damage from snow and rocks and hail and all that stuff. So the company's not going to send their newest equipment on those routes. So if you're going through a route that's very mountainous, has a lot of dirt, gravel, a lot of snow and mud, they're not going to send a new bus through there. So you're going to be driving a lot of older buses going through there because they just want to keep those new buses as clean and as nice as possible. You know, it also depends on as well as locations is the types of hubs. Like I found that if it's a smaller hub, or then a lot of the buses don't get cleaned and maintenance as much until they go to a larger hub. Where in LA we have a wash, we have a bigger maintenance facility, so every bus that comes in gets that prime treatment. Where a place like you know even Oakland, like a place like Oakland, they have a smaller maintenance area and they have a smaller wash, so they don't get full washes. They get interior washes. They don't know. I don't always see too many exterior washes get done. They get the basics. I've had a good number of times where I've left Oakland and they didn't have a lot of DEF. You know, they're filled with diesel, but you know they only had like half a tank of DEF. Every time I've gone through LA, they fill up the DEF, they fill up the diesel, they wash that bus completely inside and out. So it also depends on those locations. You know, the bigger hubs will tend to have the newer buses, where the smaller hubs may not. Not to say it's not possible, but they don't. I haven't seen too many where they've had the newest buses. So that's what I've witnessed being a driver and seeing the newer and older equipment go around. And you know, the funny thing about the newer buses is no matter whether it's brand new or old, sometimes they just all have problems. You know, I've had some old buses that were just perfect. You know, one of my biggest pet peeves with these buses is a lot of times the steering wheels aren't aligned with the damn tires. You know, the tire alignment is fine, you know, but the steering wheel is cocked to the left or cocked to the right, and you know it messes you up because you know sometimes you know yeah I'll hold to the top, sometimes I'll hold on the side, but a lot of times when I'm cruising in a straight line for a long time, I like to hold on to that center bar with some of my fingers on the side and kind of you know do it like a airplane yoke. But if it's off, you're spending hours like this. It's annoying. It's really annoying. So I found that a good number of those buses, you know, a good number of the old buses, the alignments are on, you know, they're tight, you know, just as much as the new buses. I found the new buses, they have more of a car feel to them, where the older buses, they have like a heavier steering wheel. They feel more like they're more tactile. You know, I don't know if it's just the older technology is a little rougher, and then they got the bigger steering wheels and the bigger turning radiuses, whatever. They just the older buses just feel more like you're driving a bus, where the newer Prevos, it's kind of like you're just driving a really light car that respond really quickly and lightly, where with the older ones you got to crank them a little bit more, but you feel that heaviness of the bus. You feel a lot more resistance when driving. You feel a lot more resistance, and it just makes for a more comfortable, more solid ride for me personally. So you know, I like that mid-range, those mid-range MCIs, not the OG models, but the newer ones. And you know, typically I found that some of them just have more power. I don't know if they have more power, if they just have more torque. I don't know what. But I found versus some of the newer Prevos, they for me personally felt like they lacked a little bit in like going uphill and just pure acceleration. Again, it just might have been you know a bus that's just been run a lot and just hasn't had a you know recent maintenance. But I found with the older, like especially the old G models, you know, going uphill, they'll go. They get hot as hell, but they'll go. So yeah, so that's what I've observed personally. I'm sure there might be some other technical terms or technical reasons why some places have older buses, but that's what I personally have observed when driving buses. You know, it's my opinion, and that's what I believe what it is. So if you're driving and you're in a smaller town back east, you're probably going to be driving a good number of older buses. Back you're in west, you know, in LA, you know, big cities, you're most likely going to be driving mostly newer buses. But they all work. You're gonna have. I've had few problems with these buses. You know, once in a while I've had little things like the engine brake not working, or the buttons not responding, or you know the AC isn't working. But that's few and far between. So it's your boy Otaku Phil. I'll try to keep you guys updated. Please keep sending these questions. You know, I love answering these questions. I love you know trying to get out there and educate, and you know it's just fun for me to be out there. Yeah, I have a couple of video. I have another video where I got to walk right next to Arcata is downtown Eureka, and I went to the old town Eureka. And it was a really nice little place. You know, it's kind of like Old Town Sacramento. You know, it's like an old place. And I'm gonna upload a video of some of the spots that I saw when I was there. I think it's pretty cool to see. All right, so I'll talk to you guys later. This is my favorite time. You get in, and every bus is practically here. So this is what I was talking about when I was talking about older and newer buses. We got a good number of some of the older MCIs stacked up here. Are some of the new Prevos. I think this is one of the old G models here. Yeah, it's rare when you get so many of them here at one time. I guess it's just, Sunday, the holidays coming up. We haven't had as many extra schedules, maybe. I don't know. Like, I just came in, it was pretty dead. So, it's pretty cool. Like, today, I think I only had like 20 something people going from San Francisco to LA, where typically we easily have like 40 people on that run. There's the little shuttle, or not the shuttle, the Greyhound Connect. So yeah, beautiful.